everybody. First of all, I want to put the note out there that we have a Resi today. So we wanted to switch things up. However, some of you may get motion sickness. So you might just want to close your eyes sometime when we move places to places. Like I said, we wanted to just try to catch your attention since we've been doing PowerPoints, but it's kind of like being on a roller coaster sometimes. So just wanted to put that out there in advance. But we're going to talk about arts and literature today. So some of you may or may not be taking classes. So we wanted to kind of switch things up a little bit and talk about kind of the finer arts as well as Netflix and streaming and reading. So we're going to kind of talk about some different resources for you, why it's important. And also we want to hear from you all of some of your interests too, because I think that good and bad, it says a lot about somebody, what they're streaming or reading. So we're going to have a time for you all to share too. So Emma, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, we also just really wanted to highlight what our own lovely university is doing. The Theater and Dance at Wayne is something you should follow on every social media you're on. They're pretty hilarious. They're posting videos every day. Some of them are like story time for children, so all you full-time staff parents, some great entertainment there. They're doing funny like parody songs, which is what this Little Mermaid up in the top corner is. It's a parody about being in quarantine. It's pretty funny. It's same title of the original song, Part of Your World. And then one of the fun things they did was have a Miss Quarantine 2020 pageant, which our very own Lexi Fair participated in, which is what this lovely screenshot is. She entered as Miss Fatigue. Her promo video is pretty funny. It's all on Theater and Dance at Wayne. So the first thing we're going to talk about is why. Why is this stuff important? Why do the arts matter? They matter for a lot of different reasons. For one thing, they have a really big sense of bringing people together. People that either in normal life go and see a show together, go and see a movie together, bonding, but also just even being able to talk about something together is really important. So I know even just among full-time staff, we're always talking about the shows that we're watching or the books that we're reading, and it's a way to engage with one another other than just what's going on in our own lives. There is research that shows that it does also have some health benefits and mental benefits. Theater and art particularly are known to really lower stress levels. That's something I'm sure we can all relate to right now in this time of a little bit higher of anxiety. Engaging things that are known to lower your stress level is really important. All of these arts also do things like increase your creativity, your focus and intelligence, decision making, and critical thinking. Those are all things that have been found 100% to be increased with high participation in the arts. It's why they're important to have in schools, and it's why they're important to still engage with even though we're not meeting in person in these different environments. Also storytelling, it's just a very human thing to do, storytell. We do it all the time, we do it all day long, and the arts is a really good way of expressing that when you're not necessarily great at just telling it. Or if you just feel like you have so many stories inside, you need to express them. Art is a great way to do that. It also boosts your confidence and increases your ability to communicate. Those are things that, especially when you're young and you start doing art, is really important. It really helps build those parts of your personality. You get used to communicating more, especially things like theater and music are strong with communication, and confidence is through all of them. And art also inspires you to think positively versus negatively. There's a lot of negative in our world. It's really easy for us to see things the way we wish that they were, and in a more negative light, but theater tends to bring out the positive, and music and visual arts and dance definitely inspire all of that. And so it's just kind of helps rewire your brain to think positively. So some of the ways that we can still be engaged in the arts during this fun quarantine time are museums, believe it or not, music and Broadway and theater and TV and movies. So some museums are doing really awesome virtual tours on their websites. And when I first heard of these, I thought this was probably going to be kind of boring. Like, you're just looking at pictures of art, you're not even seeing it in person. How is this entertaining? And then I went and did a few of them, and they've actually been really cool. I've shared them with a few different people. My favorite, and we're gonna open it up, was not the one I just clicked, sorry guys, is the, hold please, Sistine Chapel tour, which is really cool. It's a total 360. I'll show you guys how it works. You guys can still see my screen, right? Awesome. So you just kind of go in. First of all, look at this incredible place. This took 4 years to paint, guys. Fun fact. And let me tell you, it happened at a time where there's not a whole lot of technology and easy ways to do these things. And so imagine painting the ceiling, because that means you were like standing on a platform with your like bent up for crazy. And this museum has a really good like zoom on it. You can really see all of the artwork on everything, and you can move about the whole place. So I can keep going forward and like go all the way down the hallway, which is just really cool. And if you look at it all the way around the walls of it, it tells a story. So kind of something really cool to look more into. And there's lots of different museums. So the British Museum, which is this screenshot, has this really cool setup where like they've got different themes like art and design, living and like knowledge and religion, and you can click any of these and it'll give you like an artifact that they have in their museum and learn the history. So those are some really cool museums. Also, engaging in music and Broadway. Who doesn't love Disney? Disney's been doing this great family sing-along. They've done 2 so far. And if you're one of those people that thinks you don't have a subscription to these places and you can't watch them, you're wrong. It's on YouTube. So I attached the link to the YouTube playlist for the Disney family sing-along on here, as well as this top link for this YouTube Music Broadway playlist. This playlist I made of like every Zoom performance out there so far, and I will keep adding to that as they get added, so feel free to check that out, follow that. It's super fun. Different Broadway casts are coming together to perform, and it's really just, if you like theater, it's awesome. It's a really great way to see that. And there's also Broadway shows, like full shows, that you can watch at this link. There's a ton of them. Some of these are specifically like live stream shows, so I check it out because some are like for this weekend, but then some are up for a while, and you can look at those as well. And then as I did another plug at the bottom here to go follow Theater and Dance at Wayne. Super entertaining stuff there, guys. And lastly, we're gonna look at TV and movies. We all know the big ones, Netflix and Hulu. I attached 2 different articles about 2020 movies that are being released online because movie theaters are closed, and they'll continue to be closed, but you can still see the movies that you were excited about seeing. 2 of my big recommendations are Just Mercy and Scoob. They're both great. One is very funny, one is not, but they're both high quality. Yeah, so just encourage you to still be engaging in storytelling, and also just supporting the arts in different ways. Everything I showed you on here is free, which is awesome, but like even viewership is supporting the arts. And so just to keep, even though we can't meet in big theaters and auditoriums to go to concerts and shows, it's really important to keep encouraging the actors and musicians that are part of these things.
Awesome. So I guess at this point, what we'd like to do is just take a moment to hear from all of you, and we'll start with the full-time staff. We would love to hear from you all what you are either reading or watching. No judgments promised for either category. So Emma, if you want to stop sharing, that way we can see more screens that are, if people are showing cameras. So yeah, so maybe to make it easier, I will just call on people to share. So I will start. Something that I just finished streaming, The Great, which is on Hulu. I don't know if you all have watched it yet. About Catherine from Russia. Very loose interpretation of history, as I found out later. I didn't want to spoil anything, so I didn't like read the story until after I finished the series. And now I'm like, I can't even figure out how to compare those two because they're very different. But that's something that I've been streaming. And then I just started reading Finally Becoming by Michelle Obama. I've had that book ever since it came out, but I am finally going to read that. So, you want to go next?
And I understand there were 2 accidents and you were part of the second.
Emma, do you want to go next?
Yes. I just finished. Actually, I have one episode left. I thought I just finished, but I fell asleep last night. One episode left to finishing Your Lie in April, which is an anime on Hulu. And I'm really into it and I need to finish it. And I'm going to do that tonight. I've also been reading the Kyle, yes, you watch it. It's a good one. I've been reading the Daniel Plan, which is it's kind of a food book, just a different like lifestyle of eating, and it's been really good so far. And I'm almost done with it. And what's been really big in our house, and what I'm planning on reading next, is the new Alicia Keys biography. It's been going through my mom's read it, my sister's read it, and I'm probably next on that list.
Nice. Okay, Megan, how about you?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of streaming 2 shows on Netflix. I'm watching Mad Men. And then on, I believe it's Stars, I'm watching Outlander, which I highly recommend as well. It's really good. As for what I'm reading, it's called like The Boys in the Boat. It's about the 1936 rowing team going to the Olympics when Hitler was in power. So it's a really interesting historical piece.
Cool. Let's see. Mike, do you want to go next? Mike from the backyard.
Yeah. So streaming wise, we are watching a show on Amazon called Sneaky Pete, which is really good. It's anyway, it's really good. It's funny. It's mysterious. It's kind of serious without being too serious, and it's not that intense, but it's really good. I like, when I go to bed, I like to watch a show, a travel show called Rick Steves Travels. Like he travels Europe, and there's a few seasons on Amazon that are available, and they're just half-hour episodes. It's really easy to fall asleep to. He's kind of this lovable, dorky kind of guy with a soothing voice, and he just kind of tours these foreign cities and tells you about their history and kind of neat things to see. Talks a lot about artwork. A ton about artwork and architecture and all that stuff. So that's just I enjoy going to bed to that at night. So that's kind of what we're watching. Reading, I've been on a medieval kick lately. So a couple books by Dan Jones. One's called The War of the Roses, which I know when we did our kind of book thing through the group chat a few weeks ago, I did that. And then there's a prequel to that story, or that novel, or fiction, non-fictional, whatever. It's set up kind of to read like a novel, but it's non-fiction. And then called the Plan. I can never pronounce it, but it's kind of the era before the War of the Roses in terms of English medieval history. And so basically from like the late 12 to 1300s to the 1600s, kind of the peak medieval British history is what I'm kind of reading right now. So.
Okay. Jessica, do you want to go next?
Sure. Kevin and I just finished streaming Working Moms season 4, so we finished that, and I don't know what we'll move to next. We thought about going to The Office because he's really never watched it, so we'll see. Or Parks and Rec, but we'll see. We try to pick something that we both have interest in. And reading, so I have a weird thing, the minimalist home. So I'm cleaning out all of my closets, getting rid of stuff. It's really helpful. And then the Empowered Mama, it really talks about how to like get your life back in focus and still have time for yourself and your family. So those are the 2 things that I'm reading right now.
Nice. You just reminded me of there's this interesting moment, right, that's hard to describe right after you finish like binging something and you're like, what's next? And there's like this world of possibility of like, what genre, what am I thinking of? How am I gonna
I call it the mourning period too, because you mourn the loss of the characters that you've gotten to know. I do the same thing when I read a book that I'm really into. So I'm in the mourning period. I'm happy they've picked it up to renew it for 3 more seasons, but we just have to wait. We also were watching Schitt's Creek, and that went to season 6, like only on a different network. So we have to wait for that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Good shows.
Nice. All right, Andrea, would you like to go next?
Sure. So in some ways similar to Jessica, this is a book after Bilal had his building manager meeting with me, and he commented, how do you work in an office that's so messy? I have been reading this book get your shit together and basically how to tidy up your life. So I don't know how much I've actually done, but it's a pretty good book. So trying to get my life more organized and take some of Bilal's advice to clean my office space. Same with Katie, that Katie recommended I watch Great. So I've been watching that. It is so not accurate, totally raunchy, wrong on so many levels, but addicting. Like, I don't even know how to describe it if anyone else has watched it. I also watched Top Chef, and then I binge watched Making the Cut. So I really like reality TV. But I will say what I've been spending most of my time with is my artwork. So I brought a piece of art that I made. So I've been doing these like Michigan pieces. So you can see there's lots of different shapes and, I don't know, textures on it with embossing and stamping. So that's the art that I have been experiencing more of. So
Awesome.
that's what I've been up to.
How about Yakub?
Hi everyone. I actually have been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Also almost done with Community. I'm kind of sad because it's like all the seasons are in Hulu right now, and I'm like trying to figure out what to do next. But HBO Max just came out, and I plan on watching The Big Bang Theory. Seeing episodes in there, it's funny, so I thought I would give it a go. Honestly, there's a lot of shows that we watch, but I think those are the three that I enjoy the most. As for reading, I am trying to finish the autobiography of Malcolm X. I highly recommend it. Basically talks about his life and the struggles that he went through. And one thing that interests me most is talking about the Black Muslim movement that happened during that time and whatnot. So I highly recommend you guys reading the book if you haven't already. And just mostly like to watch a lot of documentaries and like for example, if as recently was watching on YouTube a Barack Obama when he visited Kenya for the first time, and he addressed the people, the Kenyan people. So that's a really one of my favorite speeches he gave. So I highly recommend watching that as well. And it's just stuff like that. So yeah.
Nice. You brought up a good example of there's the heavy content, and then there's also Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Big Bang Theory. So it's good to like have balance in your life of whatever you're reading or watching too, for sure. So how about Alyssa? You want to go next?
Sure. Steve and I finished Community pretty quickly on Netflix. It's highly entertaining if you haven't watched it and you just want something to laugh at. And I am watching Working Moms because Katie and Megan and Emma had been telling me about it, and I just somehow missed the boat, so I'm on it now. And we watched Dead to Me in about a day and a half because they really quick. And I love that. But after that, I'm not sure. On HBO Max, Friends is back. That's like my favorite show of all time. I'm the right age for it, so I love it, and I can watch it all the time. But my favorite book of all time is now a miniseries on HBO. It's I Know This Much Is True by Wally Lamb. It's a great book. It's like 900 pages. It's gigantic. It's kind of heavy, but it's great. It's about identical twins. It's super interesting, and each Sunday night is a new episode, so I wait impatiently for the following week for the next episode to come out so that we can watch it. And I read 9 billion books, so I have a Kindle and I just download something and read it, and I switch between something light and then heavier stuff. I don't know, I like it all. I'm reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle right now, which is a great book. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. So
nice. All right, I think we just have Nick Boyd and Nick Board left, so how about Nick Boyd? Maybe you could tell us about your guest that you have with you today.
So my guest today is Boots. He's been raising all kinds of trouble since we started having this meeting, which he only does when we're having a meeting. So, so I, as far as reading and watching, I took a break from books for an embarrassing amount of time. But actually just a couple weekends ago, I just started reading again, and I picked up The Maze Runner, which is like a young adult, like dystopian kind of fiction novel, and I couldn't put it down. So I finished it in a day and watched a movie, and now I'm on the second book, which is The Scorch Trials. And so far that's really good. So I like that a lot. And then we watched Upload, which is an Amazon original TV show, which is great. I loved it. And then we will bounce back and forth between Riverdale, for as cringy as it is, it's amazing. And also we just discovered that we have a similar love for How I Met Your Mother. So we'll go back and watch random episodes of that. And of course, Parks and Rec. I love those fun sitcoms. Those are my favorites.
Nice. All right, Nick Board.
So the art that I've really been engaging in is culinary arts again. Really trying to learn some new things. Right now I'm attempting to make biryani. We'll see how that goes. And then in February, I bought this mini series of like this 5-part cookbook that's like a $500 set. Instead, I bought the like cheaper $100 one that goes through like all the different modern cooking appliances. And I really first bought it because the pictures were really cool. But like it's written by the guy who invented the cooking methods for the space station. And for a lot of NASA flights. And so kind of been going through that. I watched the mini docu-series on the food that built America. And right now I'm reading, I don't really watch that much TV, but I'm reading God, Country, and Coke. It's the story of Coca-Cola. And then also started with my niece and sister-in-law, I'm rereading White Fragility and having like a mini book club about that.
Okay, can you tell us more about what you're cooking and what that said item is?
It's an Indian dish.
Okay.
And so right now, like I've got the base sauce. I have to add in the chicken that's been marinating in turmeric yogurt, and this like floral chili powder that is kind of like paprika but chili. What's it called? Kashmiri chili powder. And then there's rice that gets stacked on top of it. When I would go to the mosque with the LEU during Ramadan, he would always invite me during the biryani night because it's my favorite food that they would have there. And so I'm attempting to make it tonight, and we'll see how it goes. It takes a lot of hours.
Awesome.
I remember going there a couple of years ago during Ramadan, and that was what we had was biryani. So it's delicious. Nick, also, I asked him if I could borrow some of his pasta making supplies. And just last night, he dropped off not one, but 3 different possible apparatuses for pasta. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes as well. So, okay. I think that's all from the full-time staff, right? So we wanted to also take the time for anybody. I know there's been some great action in the group chat bar of like, yes, I watched that and that's a great book, but does anybody else want to share? We'd love to hear from the student staff of what you can say either or watching, but does anybody want to share? Feel free to.
Lexi's got her hand raised.
Lexi, let's start with you.
My family has Disney Plus, so I've been making my way through all of these old Disney shows. I'm currently working on Good Luck Charlie, but I've already watched like 5 different Disney shows all the way through. So I'm going back to my childhood shows and watching them all the way through.
That was one of our favorites, Lexi.
Well, and speaking of childhood shows, I just learned that HBO Max has Cartoon Network shows and series. So, like, I don't know if you guys watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast or other
Yeah.
random.
All the original like Looney Tunes stuff, like
Nice.
the like Warner Brothers, like Bugs
Yeah.
Bunny stuff on there now.
So they're also trying to compete, it seems like, as well, but
I've been watching that too, so
nice.
very happy.
Steve
Looks
just
like-
whispered, "You're old to me," so that was nice.
If you're old, then I'm really old. So
Shuir, you have your hand raised, I see.
Yeah. So I've been spamming Pokemon Shield on my Switch. I'm doing really good, by the way. I got like 5 gym badges already. I got like a whole bunch of evolved stuff to their final form. So yeah, I've been doing that. And on a more serious note, I've been also, this has been pissing me off, but I've been on Twitter and Instagram, and with everything that's going on in Minneapolis, I've been fighting or arguing left and right with people who are absolute idiots. And I'm still up right now. I'm also trying to I'm trying to convince my folks if I can go to this rally. Obviously, I'm going to practice social distancing, wear masks, gloves, and whatnot. Stay safe. I'm trying to go to the rally that they're having for George Floyd and the injustice that's been happening. I'm trying to go to that today. And if you guys can, I'll definitely give you guys the information. Please come out and support. We need all the help we can get. But yeah, that's just basically what I've been doing for the past. Well, the Pokemon thing has been going on for a couple of weeks, but this other stuff has been happening like the last few days. Yeah.
Okay. The question was actually what you were streaming or reading, not what you were doing with your life in the last few days, but that's great.
Oh, really? I didn't hear the question. I'm so sorry. Damn it. Oh, God.
all good.
Well,
It's all
I'm
good.
sorry.
You're
I've been
fighting
watching
the good
Space
fight.
Force. Space Force and Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's so awkward. I'm going to leave. Goodbye.
Don't leave. Don't leave.
Don't leave.
All right.
I don't think I would have been able to call out most people, but I think Shreer would have been fine with it. So.
Oh, God.
Okay, so to save Shreer, who else wants to share?
I'll go. I can go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Danny.
So I've been reading a lot. I've been regretting a lot at what I've been reading, like The Divine Comedy and Don Quixote. I don't know why I decided to do that. But I've been
Great
reading,
read. I love it. I'm so sorry, but that's awesome. I love it.
I hated both of them. But anyways, I've been reading like Fight Club and a lot of Chuck Palahniuk. So I found this book that he was inspired by called The Contortionist Handbook. So I've been reading that. It's really psychological, kind of dark. It like follows this guy who was a master forger and had like a history of like drug addiction. And then right when he's about to become institutionalized, he has to keep on like reinventing himself to escape the system. And it's like really detailed, and it gets into like the actual medical stuff with like the psychiatrist and like all of that. It's really intense. I can only read it in bursts too because it gets my heart racing sometimes. So yeah. Oh, and I've been watching Westworld.
Sounds intense. Who else would like to share?
I can go next. Okay, so on Netflix, I've been watching Ozark. On Hulu, I've been watching 24, which is like this really, really old series. And on Disney Plus, I've been watching Good Luck Charlie. Just it depends on how I'm feeling. And I wanted to reread all the Harry Potter series again. So every night before I go to bed, I try to read. Katie, yeah, it's a tradition me and my granddad kind of had. So with all his grandkids, like
now we really feel old for the record.
Yeah. He forces all of us to watch it with him, and we actually like it. And I was supposed to see him this summer, but I wasn't able to go to Ghana, so he's watching it currently, and I'm watching it over here. And then when we video call, we just talk about it. And yeah, I just try to read a couple pages of Harry Potter every night before I go to bed. Other than that, there's nothing else I'm reading so far. And I'm somebody that likes to move about a lot. Like I like to work on projects. I'm actually thinking about like painting our garage because ever since we moved into this house, we haven't painted it. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Can I make a quick interjection about Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So, okay, I might get a lot of hate for this, but I don't really think that series all that cracked up to be. It's like now that I'm older, I before I used to love it, but now that I think of it, and I reread the books and watched the movies, I'm like, it's not that good. It's
Not that good.
it's really not. I mean, it's okay. There's no real world. I mean, there's world building, but none of the movies really tie into each other. What the hell does
Are you going off of just the movies or the books?
Yeah, that's
the
I
books
was
as well?
about
I'm
to
going off
say.
the books as well. But look, what is the?
Because see, you just referenced the movies, which makes me feel like you're a movie fan, which makes me feel like no.
No, I've read the books. Don't worry, I read the books because the books.
I'm just
have
trying
more-
to figure out who let him into
Danny
this
said you ready to
meeting.
Read the room,
I'm
Sharir.
sorry. I told you I'm ready for the hate, but I honestly, what does a goblet of fire have to do with anything in the last? What does the half
Whoa,
blood
whoa, 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 whoa.
I now don't
Wait,
believe that
let
you've
me
read
tell
the
you
books.
Nope, nope, nope,
Bro.
La 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 la.
I'm telling you,
Shabir, you're backing yourself into a corner right now. You don't.
Yeah,
This.
sometimes in real life, random
Because-
things happen that we do not expect. Okay, and this is a story. Like nothing has to be true; it can be made up.
But
I'm
also,
sorry,
he's
man.
wrong. It all
And
does tie in.
The Goblet
Oh
of
my
Fire was
God.
pretty
Tell-
big. You
tell-
can't just have one school, all right? That's not how the world works. You need other
Okay,
schools.
Listen, man. I'm just saying. My opinion is Harry Potter isn't that character. It doesn't suck. It's still cool, but I mean, still.
But
And
you don't have a
it's kind of-
valid reason, though. You have to try to convince me. You're just saying it sucks. Why does it suck?
Okay. First off, wizards who need wands and stuff, kind of stupid. Like seriously, they've shown time and time. Like Dumbledore's shown time and time again. He doesn't need the freaking wand to make like some water or something. Voldemort has shown he can make a fire serpent thingy.
Someone
okay?
rein Sharir in, please.
Okay, I will
No,
allow.
I'm trying to make my point. Second,
I will allow one response to Sharir's, and then we will move forward. So, who would like to provide the response?
I don't think we should dignify it with a response.
I agree with Mike.
I do as well.
No points were made that we could fight against. No valid
Honestly,
points.
all
I
were
you
made.
award you
this
no
is all
points,
I'm
and may
saying-
God
all
have
I'm
mercy
saying
on your
is-
soul.
You guys not saying that you guys can't fight back. It just shows that you guys have no substance.
This
to
is
defend
this
it
is what I
because
think needs to
I'm right.
happen. I think we need
I'm
to go
right.
back to staff meeting, but anybody
right.
that would like to fight with Sharir can stay on after.
I
I'm
do
right,
commend
man.
Sharir for being a go-getter for what he believes, but
Thank
I
you.
still disagree with it.
Well, it's okay. I'm right.
Okay, let's move on. So, who else would like to share? I know we have a few more people in the
I can
room.
go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm watching Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix right now. I currently just finished season 1, like within a couple days. I just finished Star Wars: The Clone Wars as well, because the finale just came out. Book-wise, I'm not really doing much besides this week I'm going to finish some coding books because I'm boring like that. And then I also decided to try making French onion soup for the first time.
Ooh, nice.
So was it good?
It was amazing. I spent like
I
3
also
hours,
just tried
or I spent like 2 hours on the onions.
Low and slow.
It was some of the tastiest food I've made.
Okay.
Kyle, I think we need to be friends because I just did that too.
It is so good. Although even with 3 pounds of onions, it only made enough for 2 servings and a serving of leftovers.
Yeah, I made with like 9 pounds of onions, and Andy was asleep because I did it on one of the days he was working, and he woke up at like 3 in the afternoon crying from all the onions.
Oh, I was crying from chopping all those onions. It was rough.
All right. Others want to share? I think Mina, you look like you have an interesting background there.
Thank you. I didn't watch any movie like for months because like I'm painting a lot because I'm planning to make my YouTube. So I'm super busy. But when I paint, I do listen to Harry Potter again. It's super long, so like it just match with my painting. And I do listen to a lot, artist podcast. They like teach other artists how to like turn their art into a business. So that's what I'm doing.
That's really cool. Can you show us do you have any art nearby that you could show us on the screen?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was
I
gonna
can
ask.
get that.
Does anybody want to share while Mina's going to grab her art?
I mean, I can't talk no more, so.
So
That's
I
correct. And
painted.
she's back.
Okay, wait, here, Mina's
Wow.
back. Holy moly.
Damn!
Wait, Mina, talk so you're on the big screen.
I don't know how to make it big.
No, you're good. Just keep talking.
Okay. So I painted that squirrel.
Wow.
And I have some flowers. This one.
So are you painting it or is it print? What is it? What's the medium?
No, I'm done painting it.
Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And this another one.
Wow.
So your YouTube channel, are you teaching people how to paint? Are you showing your art? Are you selling it? Like, what's your focus of your videos?
I'm going to paint. So therefore, like young artists who want to learn painting.
That's awesome, Mina. Those are gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Who else would like to share? I know we've got a few more people here.
Next.
Okay, Katie.
Okay, so I'm reading Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I haven't been reading as much as I want to lately, but I'm about halfway through. And yeah, we're all Harry Potter fans here, so you really can't say anything bad about it. And then me and my mom are watching Money Heist. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but we love it. You have to really get through the first season in order to start liking it. So that's really good. And that's about it. I watch New Girl occasionally.
What was
Money Heist is a great show, Katie.
Money Heist.
Money
Heist.
And Survivor ended a few weeks ago. Me and my family were all watching that. But that ended.
I didn't
so
watch it.
We don't have anything to look forward to anymore.
I've watched almost every single season of every Survivor, and I've missed like the last 2 seasons. They're like sitting in my queue ready to watch. In fact, I haven't missed one episode ever, really. So I'm really looking forward to some time to watch those
Yeah,
last 2
this past season was amazing because it was all the winners. So it was really good.
All right, I got to get on it then.
Okay, so I know we got Bilal, Bobby, Bala. We're sharing what we are streaming or reading. Maybe just pick one or the other since we're getting close on time with more presentations. So anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I'm reading. There's a comic called One Punch Man, and it's really great. I just got I binged half of the series, which is like 4 books in like a week, and then now I'm actually trying to like pace it. I mean, it's a comic, Shariar. It's a manga if you prefer it. Shariar's, got okay, but yeah, it's really fun.
Can you hear me?
It's a
Okay,
comic,
it's
basically.
not-
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as a comic.
It's manga and anime. All right, that's not what's preferred. That's what it is. I just wanted to correct that. I'm sorry now.
And my second favorite anime is Tom and Jerry, so I'm enjoying.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay, well, we'll move on, but if you want to post in the chat bar too, you're also welcome to do that. Emma, do you mind sharing your screen again, please?
Yep.
So we've talked a lot about streaming, some controversial topics, it sounds like. So we now are going to talk a little bit about some resources for how you all could get some reading done. So with social distancing, libraries being closed, bookstores, things like that. You could buy a book on Amazon, you could order one online, or there's a lot of other resources that are actually free for ebooks. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So if you want to go to the first one. So Wayne State actually has some great resources. I actually chatted with them yesterday about some different things that they offer for you as students. So you can use your regular login to get tons of free resources. One of them is, you might already be familiar from classes, but eBook Central. So you can actually download a copy of an ebook, not just a textbook or whatever, but an actual like actual fiction book. So all you have to do is go to like the Wayne State's library website and search a title that you want to see. And it's very possible that they have it available to be able to download and read. So that's an option. They also actually have films that you can stream. That's what it's called, Canopy. So I'm not sure if you guys were aware of that, but they have over 1,000 films. If you're looking to mix things up, I don't know, sometimes for me, I will look at Netflix forever and never like find something I'm really excited about. So this could be a different option and a different database of different films. And then another resource that Wayne State's library has, which is interesting, is called Skillsoft. And this is actually a way to download videos and different tutorials for things like how to use Microsoft Office, or just kind of random things related to technology and reading and literature that are helpful for you to learn. So that's a great thing I know a lot of what many of us are doing right now are taking up new hobbies or kind of reinvigorating a hobby you already had. So if you're interested in just learning something new or honing your skills on something like Microsoft Excel even, that's an option for you too. And those are all free options from Wayne State's library system. Okay, so the next one we have here is wanted to also talk about your public libraries. So regardless of where you live, there's a public library that might not be open, of course, but they have some great resources online. So if you already have a library card, or maybe a family member does, they have some great ebooks. So similar to what the Wayne State Library has, they have some great ebook services, and they also have streaming services available. So just like you can check out, if you have a DVD player or Blu-ray player, you can check that out from your library. You can do the same thing by streaming. So they've really updated their technology and the different services they provide, which is especially helpful right now. The other thing you could do if you don't have a library card is you can actually get a temporary library card right now. And I just talked to them. So any student at Wayne State is able to get a free library card for the next 3 months. So all you have to do is like fill out your email address and stuff like from Wayne State, and they confirm that Wayne State students do qualify for that too. So those are some great services that you're able to get as well. So again, these are some free options. Emma and I wanted to make sure to focus on, sure, like there's streaming services that you can pay for, all these things cost money, but there's also some great resources both for streaming and for reading that are free to you all. So, all right. So the last one, this might be a little bit controversial now. So I wanted to have this slide about Harry Potter, but sounds like not everybody's gonna be happy about that, so sorry. So those of you not happy, just keep yourself on mute and I'm just gonna keep talking. So if you're not already familiar, there is now a way to watch some of the characters from the movie read Harry Potter. And so Daniel Radcliffe, for example, reads the first chapter, and it's all on the wizardingworld.com website, which is like a big Harry Potter world if you're not familiar already. You do need to create like a login to do that, but it is free. So if you want to, instead of reading yourself, if you want one of the characters from the actual movies reading, that is totally an option. And then related to also Harry Potter, just as of Tuesday, J.K. Rowling made a new book that she wrote available online to also read. So literally you just go to that website and you can read her new book. She's made it very clear it's not Harry Potter related. Has anybody started reading it yet, or has anybody gotten into it yet? I haven't heard anybody yet. So yeah, so that's another option if you're a Harry Potter fan, but instead of rereading the books, this is a new option that you may not be familiar with already. So I think that might be all right. Yep, so again, there's just some great resources available for reading, for streaming, and we again wanted to just emphasize that there's also a lot that are for free. Are there, I guess, full-time staff, are there any other resources between the two kind of options or avenues, I guess, that we haven't mentioned that you guys would recommend?
This isn't really a resource for in your house, but if you kind of want to go out a little bit and still social distance, a lot of drive-ins are opening this weekend. So the Ford Drive-In in Dearborn, and then the CompuWare, or I think it's USA Hockey now in Plymouth, they are opening their drive-ins. So if you want to watch a movie and just kind of get out of your house to watch it, you can at least do so in your car.
Cool, that's a great suggestion. Okay. Looks like we've got some good action in the chat bar.
I was just talking more about Harry Potter. It made me think of when I got to go to Harry Potter Studios in England and how cool it was. So
nice. Okay, so why don't we go, we just kind of, so switching gears, we just have some, like every staff meeting, we have some kind of wrap up items to go through. So Emma, if you want to go, So just some final announcements. So timekeeping, it's again due this Monday. So we have a little bit to share on that. I think you should be able to scroll over. Yeah. So again, just reminders of ways you may have earned hours. So shifts in the building, the all staff meetings, the socials, any remote work, one-on-ones. Megan and Jessica, did I miss anything from reservations on that list? Okay. So, and again, if you for some reason missed the staff meetings, we do have the kind of either the recording of the video of our conference call or the actual presentation materials, and then you just have to fill out that follow-up form. That's how we know that you've completed it. So we'll continue to do that. So as a reminder, those are the different ways you might have earned hours. And then if you want to go to the next slide. So again, our next virtual, if you want to go back, sorry.
Just kidding.
Ooh. Andrea, are you doing okay?
Sorry. It's all good. It's all
Okay.
good. Actually, the Vatican, that was the worst. So it's all good.
Okay. So we are going to continue with this plan just like May, where we had essential work in the building. We had one-on-ones for those that wanted to do them or were interested. And then we're going to keep having socials and all staff meetings. But we are going to switch things up, knowing that some folks did have conflicts for Friday afternoons, particularly with prayer. So we are going to have them now on Thursdays at 4 p.m. And so the next one will be next Thursday at 4. So the 4th will be our next meeting. And we'll send out all the messages again, but wanted to make sure to put that out there. And then the final piece that we have are just some reminders for those of you that are working in the building. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. I know we've sent these reminders out before. We just want to be clear. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and advance. All right, so just some reminders very briefly.
Can I just
working.
make a quick comment?
Oh, did someone just say?
Will be okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, did someone say something?
Hello?
Bilal, was that you? No? Does anyone need to talk?
Sorry, my computer's being a bit funny. I'll wait for a few minutes.
Okay. So just to kind of walk through some reminders. So again, for those of you that are coming to campus to complete shifts such as walkthroughs, cleaning, the water maintenance pieces, before coming to campus, you need to make sure to complete that daily screening form. So as soon as that gets submitted, your supervisor gets a copy of that. And it's super important that you not only complete the form, but you of course complete it honestly. And so that's something that all of us, no matter what area we are in or what level, we have to complete that. Super important. Also, again, reminders about wearing a face mask and social distancing, and then wiping in and wiping out. So I know we've got some instructions in the break room about that too. But we did want to make sure to make that super clear. If for some reason we are in the building or someone observes that you are not social distancing, we may have to take you off the schedule. So it's not an option, particularly more so for the sake of those around you. We want to make sure that everybody is following those policies. So again, wearing a face mask, staying 6 feet away from those that you're working with, super important. And there may be consequences if you're not following those rules. And then the final piece that I'm going to talk just a little bit briefly on is the possible exposure. So as the city opens up, as we start doing more out and about, and as more people come to the building, there is a risk, a greater risk in the possible exposure. So want to just kind of briefly walk through with you what our plan is if that should happen. So the immediate steps once someone notifies us. So first of all, if you think you might have been exposed, please tell us as soon as possible. And the kind of the steps that we take, as soon as one of you or one of us notifies the supervisor that they may have been exposed, we immediately notify the campus health center. We also then make sure to make any sort of necessary adjustments to the schedule right away. So that could be, if somebody is a building manager, then making sure somebody else is in their place. If it's removing them from the schedule right away, we immediately look at the schedule and act right away. Within 24 hours of that notification, we also do some different things. So Emma, if you want to go to the next slide. So within 24 hours of being notified, we will remove that person from the schedule for at least 2 days, but depending on the situation, we could be removing them for up to 14 days based on their last potential direct exposure. And so that's in accordance with the CDC guidelines, particularly for essential work and facility management, where it could be up to 14 days. But for now, for the immediate future, as we're still gathering information, our kind of plan is for the next 2 days, we immediately act, knowing that there could be a shift an hour later from when you let us know. So like I said, we also make sure to look at the schedule, make staff schedule adjustments. We also look at doing some additional cleaning and disinfecting. So we provide a lot of instruction to you all of the importance of wiping in and wiping out. But then we also do some additional work with cleaning and disinfecting if there is a potential exposure. And then finally, the campus health center will also, because we've notified them, they will then do some contact tracing and they will notify any staff that might have had possible direct exposure. And so that is kind of the general, more immediate process. And then from there, so even moving along even further, more than anything, we care about you all. So sure, we want to make sure people aren't exposed and we want to make sure we follow protocols, but at the end of the day, we care about you and we want to make sure that you are okay. This is a stressful situation for everybody, but when it's the employee that potentially got exposed, we want to make sure that you're taken care of. So that's why I have on there just the simple step of, we will follow up and make sure you're doing okay. Like, we don't need to talk to you about your diagnosis, your appointment with medical, anything like that. We just, at the end of the day, want to make sure you're okay. And want to alleviate any stress however we can as your supervisors and as people that really care about you. And then that final step, so kind of following up at the end of the process, the person that had possible exposure would be placed back on the schedule once they're cleared to work. And so that could mean that the campus health center notifies us. There's a variety of different ways a person is cleared, but they would not be on the schedule, be in the building unless we have cleared them. And I just kind of outlined to you all how all of the different kind of scheduling changes happen. So I promise you, we are on top of it. And we make sure to remove somebody from the building as quickly as possible and then make sure that they are good to go before they come back into the building. So that's kind of the general kind of gist of things. Are there any other kind of pieces that either Andrea or another full-time staff person might add about that process?
No, I mean, I think you covered it really well. I mean, the reality is we're not going to eliminate risk. There's risk for all of us going anywhere right now. And so we are trying to minimize the risk. We are trying to get that risk as low as possible. But every time we go into work, every time we go to the grocery store, anytime we do anything, there is risk involved. And so we're trying to just be proactive about what we're going to do. We're always going to come into new scenarios and have to try to figure things out. But we want all of us to be a team in making sure that we're trying to minimize everyone's risk. So that's why when Katie talked about the importance of being truthful and honest on those forms, that goes for the full-time staff too. I had to submit one Tuesday when I went into the office on that. They did add some more questions. So those of you who submit them daily, I believe this week they added a few more questions on as well. So, but it's about working as a team to keep us all as safe as we can.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, well, if you have any questions about that maybe you don't want to share with the group, I know we're running low on time, please feel free to send us an email, direct message. We're definitely happy to talk with you. We also created this process kind of as things have been evolving, right? So this is the process now, but that could change. So we welcome any feedback you have as we continue on, knowing that things will be always changing and evolving. So, and like I said, kind of the bottom line is we care about you guys. So we want to make sure that above all, we're looking out for you. Okay, so we want to end on a positive note. So in the vein of streaming, music, arts, reading, we thought it might be fun to show one of the kind of viral the viral shows and videos that have been kind of out there, particularly during the quarantine time. So I don't know, Emma, do you want to talk about some good news? I've seen a bunch of episodes, but I know you've watched more, so.
Sure. Some Good News Daily is this fantastic show on YouTube by John Krasinski, who plays Jack Ryan on Amazon and Jim Halpert from The Office. Him and his wife Emily Blunt, who is Mary Poppins in the new Mary Poppins, have been doing a show from their home where they just have really been just anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes long normally, but they are highlighting some good news stories in the world during this time, and it's just a really positive time to watch these videos. Sometimes it's cast reunions. They always have a section where they just like look on media and things like stories that have blown up, whether it's people writing letters to their mailman or just like things like that that have just been really positive, and they highlight them. So this is one that is going to kind of explain itself in the intro.
Yeah, so so this video, if you're not familiar, basically there's a little girl who was a huge Hamilton fan, but she, for many reasons, wasn't able to go. And so this is a conversation that she has with John Krasinski and also his wife, Emily Blunt, who also stars as Mary Poppins. So hopefully internet will cooperate, and I will go ahead and just hit play. And I guess I would also say for those of you that need to be somewhere at 3 or have already seen this or don't care, you are welcome to just bow out right now. But I can tell you that even if you're not a fan of anyone that we've just mentioned, it's a great thing to watch and good entertainment. So I'll go ahead and—
I can tell you that I've watched this video probably at least 15 times.
All right, I'll go ahead and hit play.
Hello?
Oh, wow.
Hold on a second. I was.
Wow.
Can you hear it okay?
Hello, Miranda. Here's Joy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Hey, Lynn, I didn't know you could Zoom bomb, man. That's a little weird.
This is a Zoom bomb. She's here to see Mary Poppins, not Jack the Lamplighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Aubrey. How are you? I'm so sorry you didn't get to see Hamilton. I'm so glad to meet you.
Oh, my God.
Hi.
Oh, man, Lynn, thank you so much for stopping by, but we pretty much got it handled now.
Thanks, Lynn. We're good.
We did a really classy thing. We sent her tickets.
Oh, were you a big Office fan?
Nope.
No,
not an
I
Office fan
didn't.
at all,
I'm a big fan of the
actually.
memes of it, though.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for bringing that up, Lynn. That was the source of it.
Ah!
But we're sending her to New York, Lynn, and we're going to send her to Hamilton in New York.
Well, that's amazing. I think we can top that right now, though.
Oh, wait.
There are a bunch of people just joining. That's my favorite song from Hamilton.
Doesn't master, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by providence, impoverished and squalor, grow up to be a hero and a scholar. The $10 found his father without a father, got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of the trading charm.
Every day while slaves were being slaughtered and carted away across the waves, he struggled and kept his guard up. Inside, he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter.
Then a hurricane came and
Devastation reigned, our man saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain. The word got around, they said this kid is insane, man. Took a book collection just to send it to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton, and there's a million things I haven't done. But just you wait, just you wait.
When he was 10, his father split for the fit, dead, ridden 2 years later.
Is it still out?
I just need to tell people to watch it.
Yeah, sorry. So the audio's still out.
Oh, it's back.
All right. How long was the audio out for?
A good chunk of time. If the audio, if you missed it, feel free to just look it up on YouTube. It's there.
Yeah.
Also on the Prezi that we'll share, because there are so many links, there's on that last page, there's a link to just the Some Good News Daily channel. So feel free to check out any of those.
Yeah, Bilal, you're right. That's, yeah. And I don't know if anybody's ever sung Happy Birthday over Zoom, like with a group together, but it does not sound like that. So I'm very curious of like the production and editing that happens with these like calls where everybody is singing. Because clearly like it's not a real, like, it's not like somebody hitting record for Zoom, right? It's like a lot more in depth than that. So cool. All right. Well, I don't think that we have anything else, right, Emma? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay, thanks everybody. Great talking with you all. Have a good rest of your day.
We loved hearing from you all.
Yeah.
Go feel free to find out about Harry Potter.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. 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 Bye.